What's up, everybody? It's your boy Trader Main here with another video. So it is Monday. We're going to be updating from the video on Saturday. Effectively, one of the scenarios that we were mapping out has actually come to fruition. So I'm going to go over that. And if you watched last video from Saturday, starting about the 4-minute mark, I made this kind of explanation here. So I'm going to go over that real quick, just so everyone's on the same page. Okay, and then from there, we'll talk about what I think is going to happen next. So we had talked about a couple of scenarios. I ideally wanted to short up here, if you guys remember, right? So I wanted to short a little bit higher. We were trading right at, kind of this area here on Saturday. We had just tagged that daily breaker, and I'd mentioned, hey, listen, technically, we've put in an H12 sweep here, right? Like technically, I don't know where that line came from, but technically we have an H12 sweep here. And then if you go on the low time frame, we had all of the pieces to the puzzle to short this, right? I didn't end up taking the short, but if you zoomed in, we had the H12 sweep. We had the breaker here. There's your down candle for the up move that caused the sweep. You have your market structure break right here, your retest. So this was technically a valid short, and then we were trading down here. And I thought, okay, we have a couple of options here, right? We're trading down here, and I marked out this trend line. I said, either we get back above this red line. This was our low time frame bias line, right? So the low time frame bias below here was down, above here was up. So we either get back above this red line, and then I thought we could trade up towards that fair value gap, which was at 119 to 121. And that's where I would look to short, this fair value gap up here. So let's just remember, this is the daily fair value gap within the daily breaker, right? So get above here. This is where I'd be looking to short. I said there is a chance, though, that we've got all these lows built up here, that this just rolls over. And if we cannot get back above here, I think that's a possibility. And if that happens, I thought we would go back towards the range low. And then I said, if we go to the range low again, before going to here, I would look to take a long down here, back up to here. If you don't believe me, go watch that last video starting around 4 minutes. I explained this situation that we're now seeing while we were still here. So that is now played out. This would have ended up being a really good short. I didn't take it. Full disclosure. I did not take the short. I mapped it out. I said, hey, there's technically a short here, but I thought personally we were going to get one more push up. I was wrong. Okay, so now we've come back and we've retested the range low. So I'm looking at this thing on the 12-hour. Just clean up some of these levels here. What the hell? What the hell? We've retested the range low. And we've got this 12-hour order block here. I'm willing to take a punt. So I've gone ahead and I've taken a long here. Now, this is definitely preemptive, right? This is definitely preemptive, and the trend is down, right? The weekly structure is broken. The daily structure is bearish. The H12 structure is bearish. So this is a counter trend long. It's a risky trade, but I'm effectively saying, okay, we've got a price leg from here to here. This is more than a 50% pullback at this point, or pretty damn close. Right? A little bit more than a 50% pullback there. We've got demand here. We've got confluence of support with this former range low. And if the market's going to bounce, it should happen here. Because if we do not bounce from here, then I think we're going to go take this low out and we're going to trade all the way down into here. And I don't know what happens after that. I don't really want to be in longs. So the risk reward here is decent. And the target is clear up into here, and then we're going to see what happens here. So that's effectively the setup I'm in. It's risky, it's counter trend, but I'm willing to take it. Stops below here. Entry is here. I mean, this is better than my entry. I'm in from like 112,350 or something like that. And if we go up from here, great. I make some money and I'm right. And if we lose this order block, could we come down here and then still bounce? Sure. But I think if we get back below this range high, I just like the setup a lot less. And I think this becomes the draw down here. So we'll see. But I'm willing to take this punt for now. Now, if you're nervous and you say, I don't trust this. I don't want to long it yet. You could wait and see what happens here in this next 12-hour close. I will be asleep. It's like 4 or 5 in the morning for me when that candle closes. But if you look here, we've got a potential of a 12-hour SFP here. It's still way too early to tell, right? This doesn't close for like another 8 hours or something like that. But if we get a H12 close above this low, that will lock in this as a 12-hour SFP. And if we're able to get back above here, right, or even this inverted fair value gap, which could become inverted, if we're able to get a 12-hour close as an SFP, then you could consider saying, okay, let's just use the breaker because fuck it, right? We get a 12-hour close above here, above this, right? And then we get this. We break above this block here. You could then long here. Now, is your entry much shittier than entering right now? Yes, but your stop is here, right? And your target is here. So you're still getting a decent risk reward, and you have way more confirmation than I do. So the trade that I'm in, while the risk reward is higher, right? So if I'm right, I've got a better entry than you, I've got a tighter stop than you, I'm going to make more money. The probability of my trade being right is lower. The expectancy is lower because I'm longing before confirmation. I am quite simply longing support. H12 order block, former range lows. I'm just taking the trade sight unseen. If you wait for confirmation, if we get this, yes, the risk reward is worse, but I think the likelihood of it playing out is much higher. Much, much higher. Now, we could do this and then still go down, right? I'm not saying if we do this for sure, it's going to go up and go to target. But the likelihood of the low being in here and us trading higher is massively increased if we can get a break and close above here. And obviously first, lock this in as an H12 SFP. So that's what I'm looking at right now. But unfortunately, what do the bears have going for them, right? Like, what do the bears have going for them? Because my thumbnail is crypto crashed. Like, is it fucking over, right? Like, there's, $1 billion in liquidations. Is this the end of the bull run? Here's the negatives, right? Because we got to talk about the negatives. So I'm in a long right now. I just explained the entire long for you. And if it works out, you know damn well I'm going to collect that clout. And if it doesn't, well, so be it. We'll never speak of this again. Okay? But the Bears do have some ammunition here. And this is something that I posted, I think, a week ago, or I don't remember when I posted it, but I posted it a little bit ago, where I said, listen, the top here looks very reminiscent of these prior tops in crypto, right? Like this top, even this top, all started with a weekly SFP. So the Bears have that going for them. There's been a bearish weekly SFP. Furthermore, we have closed below, right? We have closed below this weekly swing low. So there's an internal range MSB. Now, technically, my bull run swing low for the weekly chart is here because this is technically your weekly swing, but this is an internal range MSB. It doesn't mean that the top is in for sure, but with this break and the reaction we're getting here, this low looks like a more likely target than this high. So as the chart looks right now, it looks more likely that we're going to trade here before here, or if there at all. Okay, so the Bears have the weekly bearish SFP. The weekly's internal range is bearish. Okay, the daily chart is full on bearish. We made a swing high here. We have broken that. So this is in a downtrend, and all the lower time frames below are bearish. So the weekly, not quite bearish yet, but sort of bearish because it has that weekly bearish SFP, or the weekly internal range break and the weekly SFP. The monthly is still bullish. The weekly is 3-day bearish. Daily, 2-day, all those lower time frames are bearish. So the bears have some ammo. On top of all of that, okay, the fucking cherry on top of all of this gay bear propaganda, because that's what this is. It's propaganda for homosexual bears, is the macro situation is not good in that the the gold price is making new all-time highs seemingly every day. The S&P 500 is making new all-time highs seemingly every day. And these moves are starting to get a little extended. This is a big up move on the S&P 500. This is a big up move on gold. Like, this is a big ass leg up after consolidating here. I'm not saying they're done, but if Bitcoin can't go up when the environment is as fertile as possible, in that the S&P is pumping, the dollar is weak, gold is pumping, and Bitcoin is being kind of lackluster by any stretch of the means. I mean, it's kind of going fucking, it's kind of doing fuck all here. While S&P is like this and gold is like this. That's not ideal, because if Bitcoin is weak relative to those two assets, and then the S&P 500 has a big pullback and a correction, does that mean Bitcoin's just going to eat a massive bag of dicks? Possible. Now, the dream scenario here is that we're lagging, and this is going to be a higher low, and we're going to catch up, and we're going to get some of that, late headwinds of the stock market pumping. So but the bears for now do have a pretty compelling argument. Like, I don't think anyone who's bearish, it's like, oh, you're you're a gay bear. That's inarguable. But you have a compelling case that you can lay out, and a thesis where you're like, I'm bear for these reasons, right? And what's good about the bear case right now is the inval is clear. Same thing here. You're right until that SFP gets taken out. Right? Same thing here. This is bearish technically until this gets taken out. So clean and validation setups are some of the best ones. So that's kind of my thoughts. I'm in this long right now. The bears do have some ammunition here. Altcoins got slacked. I mean, Fartcoin's down at fucking 60 cents. That's not great. I was hoping this range would break up. It's into demand, right? So I'm still in the camp that the bull run is not over and that we can see another leg. But the bulls got some work to do. I kind of was hoping we were going to go like this and then one more big flush, and then that's it. That's kind of, I talked about this in my last video. My overall framework is like, it's not done, but we have one more wipeout, and maybe we're in the process of that wipeout now, and it just front ran my level. And it didn't even, because I said this is where it's going to reject, but I thought, I was being picky, I thought maybe a little higher. But I'm of the mindset that even if we don't bounce from here and this long doesn't pay, if we keep nuking, I'm looking to buy the dip, because I actually think we got one more leg. And I am of the mindset as well that Bitcoin dominance, right? And I talked about this, that Bitcoin dominance is going to bounce here. And now we've put in a weekly sweep here. I think Bitcoin dominance trades back up to here. And so if we get one more pullback on Bitcoin, altcoins eat shit, and then Bitcoin finds its bottom as Bitcoin dominance is starting to rally, that could be the perfect storm for the scenario that I laid out months ago, where we have another Bitcoin-led rally, meaning the whole market reprices higher with Bitcoin. That's the best case scenario. And then when Bitcoin starts its next phase of distribution at a higher price, 130, 140, 150, altcoins have already repriced higher with Bitcoin, and then we have another rip on alts. So I'm still working within that mental framework, and I'm making my decisions and taking trades based on that model of where I think price can go, and just kind of my overall view of the market as a whole. And as always, I'm sharing it with you guys for free here on YouTube. So that's all I got for this video, guys. If you want to support your boy, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube bullshit. The views are going up. Videos are getting 8, 9, 10K views now. It's awesome. I just crossed 4.5 million views for the channel, which is fucking crazy. Over 1,000 videos, so I'm really happy with the direction all that's going. So keep it up. Support your boy on Twitter. Make sure you're following on Instagram. All of my links, ref links, breakout, the IMG indicator. We're still running that discount, IMG indicator discount. So if you are interested in that, IMG 10 for 10% off, IMG 20 for life for 20% off. Code MAIN at Breakout will get you a discount there as well. If you're interested in the Haven, it's all below, or just leave me a nice comment. Tell me I'm handsome, and that will do just fine. All right, guys, take care. I will talk to you in a couple days. Peace.